All right, let's wrap today's episode. Originally, I had planned to release a Christmas special, a review of a popular podcast that dives deep into everything about Christmas. But after going through a difficult separation back in November 2024, finishing that project became increasingly hard. But, by the time I had gathered myself, it didn't feel right to release a Christmas episode in the month of February. So I decided to save that episode for later this year.
Well, it went pretty much like this.
If you want a Christmas day, I can give you a cup of cocoa.
We'll revisit this episode later in December when we can truly capture the spirit of the season. As I reflect on my situation, I can't help but draw a connection to Scamanda. Amanda's story reminds me of how easy it is to lose ourselves, to become what we think others expect us to be rather than staying true to who we are. In doing so, we risk drifting away from the people who truly matter to us. And, that's just a painful realization. During this time, I also came across a statistics that stuck with me. Someone claimed that millennials and Gen Z have the highest divorce rates of any generation. That hit hard, especially while I was still processing my own separation. But when I looked into it further, I found something that brought me some comfort, and maybe it will for you too. Millennials, those born between 1981 to 1996, are actually seeing lower divorce rates than previous generations. Current estimate suggests their divorce rate is around 25% lower in recent history. So, what is behind the shift? Delayed marriage is one of them. Millennials are waiting longer to get married, often choosing to focus on education, career growth, and personal stability first. By the time they tie the knot, they often are more grounded in life and in their relationship. Another factor is careful partner selection. This generation tends to approach relationship with caution, investing time in choosing the right partner rather than rushing into marriage. Another note is financial stability. Many millennials prioritize financial security before marrying, which can reduce the financial stress that often strains relationship. Another point is educating and career focus. With a strong focus on education and career advancements, millennials are building stable foundations before committing to marriage. And the last point is evolving gender roles, shifting views on gender roles and a greater focus on equality may also be contributing to stronger, more balanced partnerships. So, what are the results? Millennials are approaching marriage with more intention, and it seems to be paying off. As for Gen Z, the relationship and marriage trends are still unfolding. Since Gen Z is a notably larger generation, even surpassing the baby boom in birth rates, their relationship patterns could significantly shape societal trends. While it's too early to gather concrete data on their divorce rates, if they follow millennial patterns, they may experience similar lower rates. Now, all this information was condensed for time. If you like a deeper dive into this topic, I recommend checking out the article. Is the 50% divorce rate a lie? From Goldberg Jones. The claim that divorce rates are significantly higher for millennials or Gen Z isn't exactly accurate. The often 50% divorce rate is more of a misinterpreted statistic. It is not that half of all marriages end in divorce. Rather, about half of people who are married may experience a divorce in their lifetime. For Gen Z, it is still too early to know what their long term divorce rates will look like. Their higher birth rates don't automatically mean higher divorce rates. It's a more complex issue than that. Now that we've cleared up some myths, I'd like to shift focus. Gen Z's relationship and marriage trends are still unfolding, and understanding that can give us a more realistic perspective on what the future may hold. But beyond the numbers, I want to leave you with something more personal, something I've learned from my own recent separation. For those familiar with this channel, you know our strong closing segments are all about reflection, and this one's no different. So, here it is, my gift to you. Now, I'm going to call this Finding Peace, Purpose, and Growth After Divorce. Divorce isn't new. It's an experience shared by countless people, yet its complexity makes each journey unique. Complicated situations require complicated solutions, and those solutions take time. So please be kind and patient with yourself. But patient doesn't mean passively enduring hardships. It's about trusting the process. It's the ability to see beyond the immediate pain and believe that something better lies ahead. Patient means looking at the thorn and seeing the rose. It means facing the night and believing in the dawn. Impatient, on the other hand, it keeps us trapped in the moment, unable to see the bigger picture, and often we get stuck in the moment. If you are feeling overwhelmed right now, know that time is your greatest ally. Healing and transformation take time, and you will emerge from this a changed, stronger person. Now, one thing I want to highlight here is that it's crucial to recognize where we went wrong if we want to grow. Ignoring our mistakes only guarantees we'll keep repeating them. We've reached a point where pride can't stand in the way of our progress. Nobody's perfect, and that's just the reality. More often than not, conflict stems from someone failing to do what they should or crossing the line that they shouldn't. That's just how people clash. It's inevitable. Right now, I'm in what I've come to call my seclusion period. It's a time of suffering, but also transformation. I don't know how long it will last, and I imagine that's different for everyone. But I believe that when I come out of it, I will be someone new, someone stronger, wiser, and more at peace. I once thought being a good man meant simply doing the right things, being kind, working hard, and treating others well. But recently, I had to face the hard truth. I hadn't truly asked myself who I am becoming. If my ex-wife finds happiness with someone else, if her life flourishes while I remain alone, working hard and paying bills, what then? I'll be honest, that's a painful thought. But in that pain, I realized this. Love isn't control. Love is freedom. To love someone deeply means wanting their joy, even if that joy unfolds without you. Love is not just about presence. It's about wishing the best for someone, even from a distance. But it's the one thing that I've learned is that peace is greater than love. Love is an emotion, fleeting and unpredictable. But peace is the steady compass that guides our heart and soul. It is a more dependable anchor. Prioritizing peace means accepting suffering without closing your heart. Silence isn't anger. I see it as divine protection. When others question your silence, don't rush to explain. Trust that the right time will reveal the answers. Sufferings and hardships are, part of adulthood. To many of us, we try to avoid them, hoping they'll pass. But growth comes through facing them head on. It reminded me of childbirth. I was there to see my first child, and how the process works is, it's painful, it's messy, it's chaotic, yet the outcome is one of the most beautiful moments imaginable. Getting to hold your child for the very first time. I can't describe that feeling. You just have to go through it yourself. But life itself is much the same. It's a mixture of good, bad, and ugly. And it's up to us to uncover the beauty within the chaos. Loneliness can be overwhelming, but it's also where the greatest growth happens, much like a seed buried in darkness before breaking through the soil. The emptiness you feel now, it's preparing you for something greater. Every day, I remind myself I go home for a reason. to see the smile on my daughter's faces. When I walk through the front door, I get to hear them call me daddy. That's a blessing no hardship can take away. Most of us construct our own realities, and when those realities don't materialize and fall apart, we scramble to rebuild or to recreate them. But the real peace comes when you stop forcing things and simply accept life as it is, the good, the bad, and the in between. There's a saying by the great poet Rumi, which is, I believe it goes something like this, that life is the completion of death. Everything matters in every aspect of life, and yet it doesn't. You can be in a marriage and you can be in a happy marriage for 30 years, but when you both pass away, it's like that love never existed. Life is the completion of death. Everything in life and every aspect of life matters, but when you pass away, it doesn't. Once you understand this concept and you live this way, you will wake up with a sense of freedom. And it's in this freedom that you will start to realize that nothing that mattered will now matter. And at the same time, it still doesn't. So for those feeling lost right now, unsure of your purpose or uncertain of your path, know this. The path forward isn't about proving yourself to anyone. It's about improving yourself for yourself. People will question your silence, your choices, and your transformation. And I say to you, let them. Growth doesn't need to be announced. It reveals itself over time. As men, we're often valued only for what we provide, our efforts, our strength, or how we make others feel. But we are more than that. We are not supermen. We are simply men, flawed, burdened, and doing our best. A man's value isn't just what he provides. It is who he becomes when no one is watching. The choice is to be better, wiser, and stronger, not for others, but for yourself, is what defines you. So I will leave you with this. Be patient with yourself. Seek peace over pride. Embrace silence as strength, not weakness, and trust that in this mess, there is still beauty waiting to bloom. I pray that God grants you the clarity in your confusion, strength in your struggle, and peace in your heart. Whatever is meant for you will come, in its own time and in its own way. And with that, we wrap up today's episode. Remember, life's mess isn't meant to break you, it's meant to shape you. Stay blessed, keep your heart open, go with God, and may you find peace along the way. Until next time. More peace to the world.